How does one actually get rich? I guess this is the question to end all other questions, isn't it? What business model or strategy or piece of information do I need to actually achieve financial success? Well, those three sub-questions are actually the wrong ones to ask because the business model is irrelevant. They all equally work. And in the world of the internet, but especially with AI, information is a commodity. That is equally as irrelevant. It's not the limiting factor. And so what actually is the difference between the person who lives a life of mediocrity versus the person who achieves immense levels of financial success? Well, if you focus over the next couple minutes, I will give you a definitive answer to that question. But let me tell you, if you're not committed to growth, if you're not a serious person, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to click off now because, my God, you have found the wrong video. I'm going to save everyone a bit of time. But what is the answer to that question? What is the difference between someone who, say, makes 100K after 6 months of action or the person who works for 4 years and sees nothing? Well, at its most basic, which is where we can find the truths of this world, it's simply, the difference is simply the actions they took or they didn't take. You see, success at its most basic is simply a sequence of consistent action towards a targeted outcome. To explain this better, let me do a thought experiment with you. There is a scenario, there is a sequence of actions that you could take right now that means in a year from now, you are a billionaire. In 1 year's time, you have $1 billion in your bank account. Now, is that sequence of actions probable? No, but is it possible? Yes, it is. And that gives you the understanding you need. There is no magic sauce. There is no hidden things going on here. The difference between you and Jeff Bezos is simply a sequence of actions. That's the only way we can interact with the world around us. And there's so much confusion, so much fluff and just fog around this idea of getting rich. But at its most basic is just taking sequence of actions towards something. There is nothing else going on here. And so that just gives you already a massive competitive advantage over others who don't really know what they need to do. Well, if you can just break it down to its core, it's action. And so if success is a sequence of actions, success is simple. Getting rich is simple. Now, before you get your pitchforks out and start stabbing me, I'm saying it's simple. I'm not saying that it's easy. Success, getting rich is simple, but it is not easy. Getting rich is hard, and that is actually a beautiful thing. The hardship of getting rich. Now let me explain. That may seem like a paradoxical thing to say. And to understand this, we must look at supply and demand. You see, everybody, if they were given the offer of, I will give you more money with no sacrifice, they would take that offer. I don't care who you are, you would take that offer. And so rich or getting wealth or money has unlimited demand, yet it has limited supply because the hardship of getting rich, the hardship of going along that sequence of actions that I just discussed, is a filtering mechanism. It means the majority of people who go after that elusive getting rich, that making money, that wealth, failed. Most people who go after that end goal, that ambition, fail. And so it has unlimited demand but limited supply, making it incredibly valuable. And so we want it to be hard because if it wasn't hard, you wouldn't want it in the first place. You see, understand this. No one has a burning ambition. No one has a burning desire to breathe air because everybody already has it. You see, if getting rich wasn't hard, everybody would have it and therefore you wouldn't want it. And so the hardship of getting rich is something that we want. Otherwise, it wouldn't make this journey meaningful. And so for that first reason, the hardship of getting rich, the suck, is something that we should actually embrace and enjoy. You see, Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stood in the way, or what stands in the way, becomes the way. You need to understand that the hardship associated with getting towards the outcome is what we want. And that's the first benefit, the filtering mechanism of hard. And what I mean by hard is any negative thing that you encounter when you're going towards the goal. Now, if we really break it down, it's all just negative emotion. There is nothing going on in the external world. It's all in our mind. But that's a topic for another video, something I've explored in previous videos. But ultimately, what I mean by hardship is anything anything that stops you from doing the work, anything that makes you inconsistent towards a goal, but a lens on financial success. And so this could be resistance, hard, adversity, fear, doubt, any sort of negative emotion, laziness, or that procrastination. All of that we can bulk under this one word of hard. They're all synonyms for each other. And so hard acts as this filtering mechanism, as I just discussed, which is a good thing, because that means not many people can get it. That means it's something worth actually getting in the first place. But another thing you must understand is that hardship is a feature, not a bug. It's supposed to be there. But on top of that, the reason this is so good is because hardship, it marks the road on which we should follow. You need to understand the success that you are looking for is directly correlated with your ability to overcome, embrace, and enjoy hardship. Because business isn't really a game of numbers and profit and funnels and sales scripts and business models. They're all kind of externals. If we compare it to a game of chess, those things are kind of like the pieces. But what actually wins a chess game? It's the person. And so business is a battle of you versus you. It's a battle of you, the old version of yourself trying to stay the same, and the desired version of you, or the aligned version of you, trying to create a new future. You see, if you didn't get in your own way and you just took action and it was no problem, getting rich would be easy. And so it's this battle of you versus you that you must win. The old self trying to keep you the same, and the desired self trying to change. And what you must understand is that the old self uses this hard, it uses the negative emotion for you to stay the same, because the sequence of actions by definition has to be outside of your comfort zone, otherwise you already would have it. And so by definition, you fundamentally need to change who you are to change what you get. That's what a goal is. External reality is simply a reflection of an internal cause. You must change who you are to change what you get, your circumstances, in other words. And so the old self will try and keep you the same. Anytime you try and venture outside of that boundary of the known or the familiar, which simply is what you are, the self is simply what you're familiar with. It's the known. And anytime you try to venture outside of that, you're conflicting, you're producing conflicting evidence that begins to dissolve the old self. And so what it uses as a protection mechanism is the fear, is the doubt, those hardship, right? It gets hard, everything's going wrong, the adversity hits you. That is the old self trying to keep you the same. Now, if you take that hard, you embrace it and you actually overcome it, so you continue to take action along that sequence of actions towards whatever your targeted outcome is. If you continue to take that action, then that will begin to dissolve the old self, because the old self only has this one weapon of resistance, of hardship. Once it gives that to you and you actually dissolve that illusion and you continue to take action through it, you are dissolving the old self. You are breaking down those beliefs. You are producing new evidence that breaks down limiting beliefs and supports new beliefs, which creates a new identity. That's how you win the game of getting rich or any goal in general. The whole business strategy thing is kind of the pieces that you're moving. That's the obvious part. This is the part that is actually hard. This is what's keeping you the same. So if you can defeat the old self, you achieve the goal. It's as simple as that. And so if we understand that every time we overcome, embrace hard, and we continue to take action through it, the old self is getting weaker. We're dissolving that illusion, that grip it has over us, keeping us the same. Every time we do it, that means we're pushing further outside our comfort zone and we're actually getting closer to our goal. Every time we encounter hard and continue to take action through it, we act despite it. We are, I guess, increasing the progress meter towards whatever the end goal is. And so if we can have this understanding, we understand that the hard is the way, the impediment to action advances action, to go back to that Marcus Aurelius quote. The hardship is what we need. It's the line we need to follow to actually get the success. You see, the hardship, the resistance, the fear are the gatekeepers of your success. They are, your ability to overcome them is directly correlated with the success that you will see. And so what we can understand here is we should take decisions based on what will deliver us the most hardship. You see how we're beginning to reframe this situation. You should always take the option which delivers you the most hardship, because hardship is directly correlated with the amount of success that you see, because you're fundamentally changing who you are, and so you're changing what you get. Remember, external reality is simply a reflection of an internal cause, and so you must get rid of the old self. You cannot create a new future whilst holding on to the old beliefs, the old version of you. And so the hardship is the way. And so instead of this negativity, this victimization, whenever you feel it's hard, it's getting hard, you feel lazy, you just don't want to do the work, or it's scary, or you feel doubt, there's this cloud of negativity around this negative emotion as it is. You feel like a victim. You feel like you must avoid this hardship. If you continue to avoid the hardship, you're just going to run in circles in your comfort zone. Hardship is the symptom of leaving your comfort zone. And that's you changing fundamentally who you are. And so with this perspective, when we feel hardship, which is synonym for all the other stuff that I mentioned, the negative emotion, we should feel one dominating emotion, which is gratitude. We should be giving thanks for it. Think about how powerful that reframe is. Because if this is the thing that is actually getting us closer to the goal, this is the thing that is actually growing us, we should feel overwhelming levels of gratitude for it, because you want to get rich, right? And so if this is the thing that is delivering us the dream life on a plate, it's our ability to overcome hardship. Why would you not feel gratitude for it? Immense levels of gratitude. But on top of that, instead of just taking the easiest sequence of actions, you should take the sequence of actions which delivers you the most resistance, the most hardship, because every time you overcome it, every time you take action through it, you know for a fact you are getting closer to your goal. Gratitude. And it's this reframe which changes everything, as it has done for me. The moment I did this, I started making a lot more money than I was, and I was broke for the longest time, now making over 6 figures a month. This is what changed. This is what top athletes, musicians, business people understand. This is what the root of living an exceptional life looks like. To be exceptional, you must be an exception, and this is the exception that you must take on. You must feel gratitude for the pain, the resistance, the hard. It feels paradoxical, but the more you do it, repetition, it just becomes hardwired into who you are. And so that initial question that I asked, what actually is the difference between someone who gets rich and someone who doesn't? What is that factor? Well, it's your ability to overcome hardship. Success is simply a sequence of actions. The reason most fall off those sequence of actions is because they're inconsistent. Why are they inconsistent? Because it gets hard at some point. They quit, or they slow down, or they stop. And so if we just understand, we just need to stick on that road of consistent action, and hard is the only thing that will push us off. If we can feel gratitude for that and completely embrace it, it loses all its power on us. The failure mechanism is removed. There is no option for us to fail. Everything feels great because we feel gratitude for that hardship. Changes everything. I'm hoping this is resonating, because it is your ability to overcome hardship which will determine how much success that you see. And that is what I'm really trying to drive home here. Anytime you feel hard, that resistance, fear, doubt, gratitude, it will feel strange at first. You just got to stick with it. And that's the answer. That's the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't, is your ability to overcome hardship and beat resistance. I hope you found this valuable. Godspeed.